Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be hopping in the boat with one of my favorite people, Jarrid Houston, and we're going to lay the smackdown on some walleyes on the St. Louis River. And this was a really cool bite. We caught a bunch of fish and we were pulling spinners with plastics on the back, which is a tactic that not a lot of people have confidence in. A lot of people feel like you got to have that nightcrawler on the back. But I can tell you, after going out with Jarrid and catching a bunch of fish, I have a bunch of confidence in it now. So it was a really cool bite, and we're gonna jump right into the fish catching action right now because there's definitely a lot of fish catching action to get through.
Looks like it's the right flavor. I'll probably just, looks like a nice keeper. So this one here is on the Eye-Candy, brand new, of course, Northland fishing tackle. We're substituting live bait for some soft plastics, throwing it on typical, worm harness things that you'd use with live bait systems. But getting some walleye, soft plastics, working real good. Why not use it?
Next up, Jarrid is gonna put another fish in the boat, and then he's gonna talk about how he likes to set up his whole spinner rigging setup based on the conditions that he's fishing.
This one's on the butterfly. I think that's that silver pink. But just goes to show you don't have to have live bait to catch these fish. Even with worms, crawler harness systems, you can use Northland's new Eye-Candy. Look at how pretty that is. I mean, I'd eat it if I was a walleye. What we got going on here is about a 24-inch lead. We snipped that right out of the bag, retied the double barrel swivel up here, clipped it onto our 3-ounce bottom bouncer, bent our wire up, put our butterfly blade because we're trying to, we got some pushy wind, so we'll go that slow crawl once in a while. And these blades here will go down to a 1/4 mile an hour, so that helps out quite a bit. But we just kind of matched up some colors too. So this is that pink silver Eye-Candy soft plastic. It's got a real elongated, that is sick, the way that can bend. So a lot of these fish will actually just kind of chase that and nip at it a little bit until they can get a hold of it. But once they're on there, man, they're eating it pretty hard. It'll get chomped down.
Now obviously we're using Northland's new Eye-Candy plastics to put these fish in the boat, and we're catching a lot of fish, but I don't think anybody would say like, hey, plastics are always the deal, or man, you can just forget about night crawlers, you don't need those anymore. Night crawlers still have plenty of times when they're just totally the deal when you're spinner rigging. And sometimes leeches can work really good too. I also know some folks will actually put minnows in the back of spinner rigs, but in this particular bite, when we're fishing through a lot of different, in this area there's a bunch of different stuff, but in particular like perch, can be a real nuisance when you're trying to pull rigs through areas and they're just kind of eating up your crawler. Same thing in a lot of the fisheries that I like to fish, when I'm pulling spinner rigs over the tops of weeds, sometimes it's almost just impossible to keep a bait out there because there's just so many bluegills that are going to be nipping at that crawler, and it just pays to have a plastic there just so you can actually have your bait in the water long enough. So I guess what I'm getting at is there's a time and place for plastics, and it's not all the time, but Jarrid is going to talk a little bit right now about when he likes to use plastics.
Good so far. Just a little walleye. Just trying to, kind of whip off that soft plastic, and if you had a night crawler on, of course that thing's going to go flip into the water, but that's another advantage of why you want to use this Eye-Candy stuff. It's going to stick to that hook real good. So it's, fish is you're going to lose a lot of live bait when you're using live bait systems like this. But if you use a soft plastic, that's going to stick onto the hook a lot better and last longer. So if you're fishing in a lot areas where there's a lot of forage, so there's a big reason why we're fishing this flat, right? So on the forward-facing technology and on the side imaging as well, we're seeing forage, and a lot of it's in the form of that river shiner stuff, and in turn those river shiners are getting chased around by little pods of perch, and the food chain continues. Obviously then walleyes are chasing those, and so on and so on. So we're kind of targeting them, kind of chasing those little schools of forage around, and it's paying off for us. Obviously perch are thieves when it comes to stealing off live bait off of hooks, and in areas where you're on a slower bite and you get a lot more of those little nippers kind of just dragging behind the worm crawler harness and nipping off the live bait, that's where this stuff's going to excel at, right? They can't really pull that off really good because it's it's got that pretty limber and strong tissue that keeps it attached to itself. So it pays off for sure. You know, in the case where you are using live bait, or even this for a fact, if you just up your speed a little bit, you're going to get the stronger fish that can swim faster, and in turn, usually that's going to be a better quality fish to hook up with.
Now there's a ton of different color options that you can utilize for your plastics when you're putting them behind your spinner rigs. That is kind of one of the advantages of using plastics, is you have some color variety. And Jarrid is going to talk about that topic a little bit right now and kind of what was working for us on that day.
It's taken a lot of time to figure out that even in this shallow water, given the situation of this color, we got cover, right? So these fish are right next to the boat. We've been watching them on our sonar, and honestly, they're not afraid of the boat. You can catch them right off the side. So we're avoiding planer boards and that one more hassle. And honestly, it's been real nice to just be able to put out the rods right off the side of the boat and catch them that way. There's one in the bag. Chunkers.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So there's that cliche, match the hatch, and we got some of that going on with the old natural colors, but also, with that being said, the old beautiful glimmering red, white, and blue, the Eye-Candy and the flavor of firecrackers, actually putting some fish in the boat, and that's been pretty fun. This thing reminds me of the 4th of July, right? Look at all them star-spangled banners and that thing. So, America!
Next up, Jarrid is going to share some of his thoughts on boat control when he's pulling spinners while he's trying to manage a triple header of walleyes here on the St. Louis River.
So that one was just kind of a little bit in the prop wash off the corner pocket. Slide over to the side here. It's nice to have a nice long rod, so you got a lot of, you know, forgiving play with those, you know, walleyes in the shallow water. That's a pretty violent head shake, so it helps out to not have a super stiff rod. So real limber at the tip here, that helps out. There we go. Just a nice size cutter. Any day of the week. Of course, everybody knows me, I'm a conservation guy, so we let these babies go. The future is bright. Yeah, so pretty windy here, so boat control gets to be a factor, especially because we got some submerged logs, stuff going on. And one thing that we'll do, as you can notice right now, is we just keep things going straight. You know, we don't want to turn and zigzag and stuff. We're using the wind to our advantage by hitting the autopilot, just letting it do its thing. That's just another eater.
That one's on the firecracker.
That's on the firecracker.
Oh, splash well.
So yeah, honestly, when the wind's too powerful, we'll actually turn on that kicker motor and keep the electric bow mount down there for steering. We'll power right into the wind. We'll get to a point where we've been hitting the track, and you can see on the GPS just a bunch of things back and forth. And so we're actually just going back the same path each time, Jake. Thank you.
You got another one?
Yeah, they're biting all over. One of those days where things are kind of clicking pretty good. Oh, that's got some good head shakes there too. It's not, I don't think it's it's not a big one. Just a, hey, that's the first time we got bit on that natural color though, isn't it?
That's the black, yeah.
That's correct. So now we can honestly with confidence say we got bit on every single color of Eye-Candy soft plastics by Northland Fishing Tackle that we have out. Every single color has had a fish on it today.
Not gonna lie, this is already one of the more red hot bites that I've been on this year for walleyes. There was a ton of action, and after that triple header, we weren't sitting down for more than a couple seconds when this fish hit.
I love when they almost take it out of the rod holder.
We just sat down for 2 seconds like we were gonna relax. What happened to that?
It's all that, something's in the air today, I guess. I don't know, they're just biting really good. But that's pretty typical for the St. Louis River. We get good fish all the time.
Ooh, that's a better one. That's a scooper.
Yeah, we can scoop that baby. We got good head shakes on it. Not the biggest one we've caught today, but we're into the 20s there. Look at that firecracker, the way it sticks out. I mean, they're just loving it now. These fish are American. It makes sense.
It has been weird. It seems like some of the bigger fish have come on the firecracker.
Yeah. So that is a fun St. Louis River walleye again. Big old marble eyes looking at you. Smile, buddy. All right, cool.
Well, that's about all we got for you in this video. Special thanks to Jarrid for taking us out. We had Jake Wallace as the king net man, scooping those fish left and right, and it was a really good time out on the boat. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something, make sure to hit that little red subscribe button down below, because we have a lot more awesome content coming in the future. And until then, we will see you in the next one.